Hi and welcome to another tour again to the museum. I'm going to show you now on the map where it is in Sunderland. So we're going to go here, the coast road all the time up at the side of Peterlee along for the hawthorn burns, then at the coast along Seaham, then a little bit higher, and there in Sunderland there's the museum and garden centre, winter garden centre. So this here, there to there, and then the same way back. The wind is blowing out to the coast. Falls by Sara Teasdale. They came to tell your falls to me. They named them over one by one. I laughed aloud when they were done. I knew them all so well before. Oh, they were blind, too blind to see your faults had made me love you more. Helen of Troy by Sara Teasdale. Wild flight on flight against the fading dawn, the flames' red wings soar upward duskily. This is the funeral pyre, and Troy is dead, but sparkled the day I saw it first, and darkened slowly after. I am she who loves all beauty, yet I wither it. Why have the high gods made me REG their wrath? Forever since my maidenhood to sow sorrow and blood about me. Lo, they keep their bitter care about me even now. It was the gods who led me to this lair, and from the burden they should make me weep. They should not snatch the life from out my lips. Olympus, let the other woman die. They shall be quiet when the day is done and have no care tomorrow. Yet for me there is no rest. Mortal, so kind to her made half immortal like themselves. It is to you I owe the cruel gift. Lena, my mother, and the swain, my sire, to you the beauty and to you the bale. For never woman born of man and maid had wrought such havoc on the earth as I, or troubled heaven with a sea of flame that climbed to touch the silent whirling stars and blotted out their brightness ere the dawn. Have I made the world to weep enough? Give death to me. Yet life is more than death. How could I leave the sound of singing winds, the strong sweet scent that breathes from off the sea, or shut my eyes forever to the spring? I will not give the grave my hands to hold, my shining hair to light oblivion. Have those wonderful ways of death, the still when any laugh to lift their breasts with longing, any lips to thirst against the quiver of the kiss. No, I shall live to conquer the ring again, to make the people laugh who hate me now. When the ring is out, I have ceased to cry against the fate that made men laugh my mouth and left their spirits all too deaf to hear the little songs that echoed through my soul. I have no anger now. The dreams are done. Yet since the Greeks and Trojans would not see aught but my body's fairness till the end, and all the islands set in all the seas, and all the lands that lie beneath the sun, till light turns to darkness, and till time shall sleep, men's lives shall waste for I shall be the sum of their desire, the whole of beauty never seen again. And they should stretch their arms and starting, wake with Helen on their lips, and in their eyes the vision of me. Always I shall be limned on the darkness like a shaft of light that glimmers and is gone. They shall behold each one his dream that fashions me anew, with hair like lakes that glint beneath the stars, dark as sweet midnight, or with hair aglow like burnished gold that still retains the fire. Yet I shall haunt until the dusk of time, the heavy eyelids filled with fleeting dreams. I wait for one who comes with sword to slay, the king I belong to searches for me now, and yet he shall not slay me. I shall stand with lifted head and look within his eyes, bearing my behest to him and to the sun. He shall not have a coat stained with blood, the whiteness. For the thirsty soul shall fall, and he shall cry, and catch in his arms, hearing neck to Sparta on his breast. Lo, I shall live to conquer Greek again. I wanted to make a presentation about the Hochfontein Viaduct, but the website of a Newcastle University needs to be maintained. The next website about this archaeological, historical building, they have to update my browser, and the next website wasn't working. So we're gonna do it the next time. The Hochfontein is still to ride out. Seaham. And when we're next time here in Seaham, I try to make a presentation about a 5.5 inch artillery gun. Here's it written. 5.5 inch gun. Howitzer. Seaham Beach, no warnings in places. EA pollution risk forecast valid on 2020. I don't think I can read it here. I don't know if it comes under the camera. And there's a chimney of the Ryop Ensign Museum where we were last week. So we went now again here through. It would be good if there would be no litter lying, or also clean that there is no mud lying in the puddles. It is possible, and maybe a mirror. So maybe something can be improved without adding away, just by cleaning up, and maybe a mirror. I think that the end of the hard walkway started down in Hartlepool, where we started by with House Road. House Road over to Teasdale and South Fetton as a little bit other way, then up until here to the Blackhall. I think here was a train station, I don't know it, but it could be that here was a train station, at least for the coal or something. So here's the absolute end of a big hard restaurant. We went at the coast along, but it's a bit shorter, but around 30 kilometers at the outside. And we're gonna go no further up to the center of Sunderland. Here in the Mammal Park, we're gonna come probably soon back to play tennis. Another time. The closed Sunderland Synagogue. It is the Langham Tower, and with the Guru Geben Shink Shik Temple. So it is a Shik temple, but it was pretty surely once a church. I'm not sure if my map is completely accurate. That is base Sunderland, maybe also Bethany Church, or Bethany Church and Bede Tower are behind it. But somewhere in the complex is Bethany Church and Bede Tower. Here that is Mowbray Park. Somewhere in the middle goes the Durham coastline through. Maybe underground, I don't know. We're maybe gonna go over the back way through it. And you're gonna look to the Victoria Hall Disaster Memorial. Maybe I see something in the museum too. Also not I read already about it. Morwell Park Lake 1898. A tennis court in Morwell Park 1890. Morwell Park 1896. Havelock Memorial in Canning and Mowbray Park. And somewhere are dogs allowed somewhere. These three towers must be pretty directly at the Boer River, but today we're not gonna go with for the next time. And should be a more glorious day this minute. Sir Joseph Wilson Swan, who invented the electric incandescent lamp, was born in Sunderland. He is written with Jack Crawford in a battle against the Dutch in 1797 on board the HMS Venerable. After the main mast had been shot down, climbed up and hissed the flag to show to the other friendly ships that they had not surrendered. The winter gun seems to have existed in 1879, but was destroyed by the bombing 1941, and also the Victoria Hall was destroyed, but then reopened around 2001, I think, 2001. The air came through the pipe up from a ship. This was an actual line. In 1868 he mauled his trainer who then 2 years later died of fever. This hair and the surroundings of the lion are since 1879, so 11 years later, here in the Sunderland Museum. Mine guesses the colliery fireman and his duties, coal mining series, book funneling with steel supports the law relating to safety and health, part 2. A historic survey, Durham Colliery, textbook of coal mining, Durham Agreements, guide to the coal fields. But they seem to be a little bit new, at least partly, they are 1950s, 1960s. This is half a ton of coal in one piece. Here's written that also at the Newcastle University mining department was able to study. We walked here from Hartlepool, here up all the way with the road now up here to Sunderland. Now, if you look at that, I think so. The footpath goes here in Haswell, on more or less like here, and here goes the street along to Haswell and then to the west of Southampton. It seems the railway was following the line of the old street, whatever that now is. But there is something going on with why today the Hart to Haswell walkway goes until here, and then the new one. There's a bridge which I showed just. Here's the Easington pit cage somewhere there. I didn't film it this time, maybe on the way back. And they were here getting coal underneath the ocean. They had dug underneath the ocean to get from there the coal. So here's a map of the earliest monasteries. There's Hartlepool and there now somewhere there where monks are. There's Lindisfarne, that is on an island a bit out. This boat from around the Middle Ages has these holes, and they are speculating that it was to make their seat or something so that the people could sit in it. They have here such a chair with which it is intended to bring someone down if someone is injured on the second or third floor. 36 inch circumference core head, 1951. That's far bigger than a head. They say that it is a 300 million year old tree found 1840. They say that was Greenland, Britain, Ireland, and then Norway, Sweden, Finland. That here was a desert region until it opened here, and when the Zechstein stake came about. Chinese alligator, a turtle. It is pretty big, it can't really be seen here, but it is pretty big. The eagle is also very big. They say that wild rabbits grazing and digging keeps the ground in a condition that is perfect for sustaining other animals. They are called otter. I didn't know that they were called in English otter. Cacti are growing in the desert where it is dry, do they say. They supervise children at all times. Please do not feed or touch the fish. They have a lot of pottery here. They have a grand piano here, and there were 3 concerts said which were here. Just 3 is not so much. We all cost money to get here the concerts. 3 concerts. The Sunderland Museum and Winter Gardens. It is here in Sunderland in northeast England, a bit south of the River Were, pretty much in the center of Sunderland. It is this big building there. Free entry. One can just walk in and look at it. When one comes in, there's first the cashier. If a person wants to buy something, they have stuffed animals there and other things, some book and some little things and some different things. At one place a person can make a coin, press a coin in the museum also later on. One can donate. There are different places where one can donate, also at the cashier point. That is one part of which the museum is financing itself with. And there can be stuffed animals bought. Then there is on the left, when one comes in, a big section where a lot of pottery is, of glass pottery which was made in Sunderland in the centuries past. And there's also a grand piano standing for occasional piano concerts given during the summer months. When the museum is big, there are different sections. There's one about dinosaurs, and also in the Winter Garden Park, there are some places dinosaurs standing inside of the garden. The garden where one can go up the stairs and then up around. There's also a lift going up and then the roundabout at the top of the Winter Gardens, which was destroyed in the bombing 1941 in the Second World War and then rebuilt. And there are other sections. There's one about prehistoric time, there's one about prehistoric time of England or Sunderland, which was around 10,000 years ago and 5,000, 2,000 years ago. Then there is a boat, and there are new boats. There were a lot of boats built in Sunderland here in the River Were in the 18th, 19th century. I think they said even 700 years back, so for centuries. And there are quite some model ships. There's a big rope. There are different parts about ships, also steel ropes and some things now that were made. And coal making, there's a big section about coal making at different places where the videos are running, where people have acted how they lived at the time, but also in the coal mining parts. There's a big half-a-ton coal block and different things about coal mining, and also about how the workers were organized and where the mines were in these regions here around Sunderland, and how the people lived. There's a child room of the 50s and 90s, and another section of the museum, and different places, different things showed what people have typically eaten, and different types of how much money they had over the decades and the centuries. There's the art gallery. There's one big exhibition about people who are active in community life and have made an active life currently, about female people who did that. And there's a big art gallery with centuries old painting, partly very big. There's a big one with a castle and ships and also portraits of people. And lots of different things. So around 10 different sections, big rooms, each of them with around 100 different things. One was about animals, with stuffed out animals. A tiger was there, which had died of natural cause, was written. There was a lion and other animals, an peacock and an eagle and a crocodile or an alligator, and different other animals and so on. Other animals, something to that, about forest. So different parts of animals were hiding in the forest, about nature, the history of the place, England, of the Victorian times, of the pottery making, lots of different things, painting, and a gallery with the current theme. And then the Winter Gardens also with dinosaurs were standing, and there are different plants there, and fishes were there. There are 15 different fishes, also bigger fishes there. They should not be fed, one should not touch the water going down the waterfall. Children should be supervised at the water pool, and so on. One should not eat and drink in the museum. But that is the museum, free entry, one can just walk in, look around, donations are welcome. And I'm in no way sponsored or affiliated with the Sunderland Museum and Winter Gardens. The Victoria Hall disaster, it was in 1883 in Sunderland in northeast England. This statue of a grieving mother with a child is commemorating it. And there were over 1,000 children attending the event. There was a play by Mr. and Mrs. Fay, and then they had said at the end of the event there would be given out prizes to people with certain ticket numbers. So they had only one out entrance, and they had vaulted it closed so that only one person at a time could go through, probably for that they could look at the tickets. At the same time, they were given out prizes on the stage, as well as some people wanted to go outwards, and somehow, I don't have a really description, Hundreds of the children rushed went outwards toward one door, which was bolted and only inwardsly openable, so that they all got crushed and crumbled there, and 183 children died. And this is commemorating it with a grieving mother. It caused a national outrage. The Queen Victoria wrote to the family's condolence letters, and equivalent amount of £500,000 were collected in the country to pay for the funeral of the 183 children. And then new laws were made that people were thinking that doors have to be there enough as emergency, that they have to be openable, to be outside, that people think that it can't work like that. And see now, they have to be able to open to be outside, and also the push bar was invented at the time when people can push against the bar and that makes the door open. So not just one little opening, but a big one, so that people can move better out. And this is here the commemoration memory statue of a grieving mother with child to the 183 children who died because too many people were in one building with just one exit, which was not openable to be outside and also half bolted and locked. Okay, that there is the Basis Church, there's a food bank or something in, and that is the Bethany Church. So I forgot a few things. One thing is there's a coffee in the museum, which is selling the part of other things, £3 per pound per coffee, there are different types of coffees. And there were also toilets. And also maybe changing to make them down, to change the diapers, and also accessibility toilets to the right, maybe it works. And went to the statue. I forgot where also I said the Winter Garden was destroyed in 1941 during the Second World War during bombing, and the Victoria Hall was destroyed through a parachute bomb. And the statue of the grieving mother was moved to the Bishop Ware cemetery 10 kilometers more inland. It stood there for a few decades, disrepaired and was also vandalized, then brought back to the Marlborough Park after it had been restored for around £60,000. And there was something more, but here with the track there was something. Yes, the paths are a bit overlapping there by Hesper, around 50 kilometers down here. Maybe that was the point where they were changing something with lagoons or dragons. And there are also some stones. Maybe there was a gate or something. There was something more, but for now we're going to continue now further down. What would be also helpful is if on the north side there is a little corner where one can stand in and wait, if there wouldn't be thorns, so these twigs with needles on, would be hanging there down into the corner. We hadn't seen it because the past two times we came just on the south side and waited in the south corner. So there are two corners on both sides, and where one can go in, it's also directly over 10-15 meters over, or 10 meters above over the street. There's almost no space, also for the cars not. So when one walks in, one has to be clear that now one is on the other side, so that the cars, if they come, can go to the other side, and try to wait a little bit until you hear that no car is coming. Maybe it works, but it's actually quite a lot of traffic here. So maybe right now, where one could hear that for the next 5, 6, 7, now one comes. There in the corner, one here isn't hearing so good. So if one goes there in, one has to make sure for the first 10 meters that there is space enough for the cars which come, because one cannot really hear them, that they can go to the side, and behind one is no one. And then one can stand in a corner. If there wouldn't be mud lying, and litter, and twigs with thorns on them. Now when one stands there pretty much in the middle of a street, but behind a little shelf, behind a little shelter, a little corner, and one has then to look that no one comes to the front, one can see just 5 meters, so one has to hear. And in the moment where one goes, there has also no one to come from the other side to walk, because one has to cross at that point. So not just then to go on, but to cross in the point. One can only look 5 meters in front, 50 meters back. One can hear also not good in the corner. Now it would be for a few seconds clear. And when one cannot just go on over the street, one has to go crossing the street. Can only also look back only 50 meters. And from the front, cars are coming just 5 meters to see. To the other side, there's again a little corner with mud and litter. So slippery mud to slip. And then again over the street 10 meters, that is okay. I don't really know. This is a lot of space here. Is it really not possible that somewhere where is a way leading over the bridge or something? Or that here is a corner, or that the cars have to come actually much more down. Okay, they are quite slowly. I think they could slow down and halt, but is there really no possibility to go over it? Or to make a mirror, or to clean, or not to have thorns there lying? It is possible. And the other thing is maybe at the beginning of a street to ride for the people, not the family, not with anything. It's completely impossible with family. Only if one is pretty fit, able and used with traffic, and still then it is quite dangerous. We're gonna continue here now further down. So there's a little corner and then direct on the other side, so one has to cross and run over. So there's one shelf, there the other one has to cross and look what's going on. Seaham from the north. So it is the Durham coastline which goes over there, over it then. Over it. If the problem is that the crossing of the Durham coastline of the railway is a problem, that wouldn't be a problem if there's a path leading up and just over the railway line. As one can see, there's absolutely no problem to cross the Durham coastline. And what happens at multiple other places. Crossing a railway is pretty easy. These are just 2 meters and one can look for kilometers if a train is coming and hear them also and so on. So it wouldn't be a problem to cross on top of it the railway line. I don't know how it looks from the top, but maybe I'll look on the maps. That seems to be for me the most easiest solution. I'm going to look where the way actually leads through, which goes there in. If the problem is to cross the railway line, it is not a problem to cross the railway line. One can see for kilometers whether a train is coming or not. Farmfoods in Seaham. It's next to the Byron place where also all the other shops are. It's a good store. We were in and bought these strawberries for 99 pence. It's a good store. They have a lot of things with the refrigerator, multiple meters, and also fast and very friendly through the cashier. It was person and fast through, good store, many things with refrigerator things. I'm now a sponsor or affiliate with Farmfoods. B&M Seaham in northeast England. It is where also all the other stores are, with the big Asters, Farmfoods and the 20 other shops. And it's a good store, quite a big store, many different things. Not so much food, but also, and then homeware, playthings and so on. Lots of different things to make things out of the home things, a little bit of different things, of all things. A typical B&M. And we bought this water, still 2 liter for 55 pence. And I'm now a sponsor or affiliated with B&M.
Where is Hartlepool? Where's the barn of Hartlepool?
Song by Sara Teasdale. You bound strong sandals on my feet. You gave me bread and wine, and made me out beneath the sun and stars, for all the world was mine. Oh, take the sandals off my feet, you know not what you do. For all my world is in your arms, my sun and stars are you.
This part at the Hoffendine north of Easington colliery, where we saw a couple of times previously already rabbits with a black fur color. Okay, they were just brown.
Parts of a flowering plant. That whole thing is the flowering plant. Under the soil is the root system, the roots and the lateral roots, and over the soil is the shoot system. And there's the stem growing up, and from time to time there are the nodes with the auxiliary buds. The distance to the next auxiliary bud is called internode. There's the auxiliary bud with a stalk growing, which is protected by developing leaves or scale leaves and can grow into a stem. It is the stalk can grow into a stem or into a flower. And such a flower has 4 kinds of floral leaves arranged in a reciprocal. On the outside are the sepals forming the calyx, and then the petals forming the corolla. Inside of them, protected, is the stamens and carpel. The stamens is filament and anther, and the carpel is ovary, style and stigma. According to modern biology, by Robert de Barras, written in the year 1979, on the page 10 and 11. The positions and views expressed are the ones of a source and don't necessarily align with my own or with the ones of the entity spoken of. The Rose and the Bee by Sara Teasdale. If I were a bee and you were a rose, would you let me in when the grey wind blows? Would you hold your petals wide apart? Would you let me in to find your heart, if you were a rose? If I were a rose and you were a bee, you should never go when you came to me. I should hold my love on my heart at last. I should close my leaves and keep you fast, if you were a bee. For example, that they have fur or hair. Another indicator is that they are born at an advanced stage of their development and are resembling their parents when they are born. Not in an egg, but already pretty much developed. And another thing is that the organs of them are raised by plants, for example, on the inside most of them. And they are plants. That is a very important indicator for an animal to be a mammal. There's some structural things also: head, neck, shoulders, thorax, abdomen, hips, legs. Some things: nose, tail. Lateral, some things: legs, ears, eyes. Furthest away from the ground is dorsal, by humans, the tummy is the ventral. And some of them are left and right symmetrical, that is bilateral symmetry. According to Modern Biology by Robert de Barras, written in 1979 on the pages 11 and 12. The positions and views expressed are the ones of a source and don't necessarily align with my own or with the ones of the entities spoken of.
Tomorrow is bin day in Blackhall, Rocks.
So this is the southern coast tunnel, southern of Blackhall Rocks, underneath the dark coastline. It is around 150 meters off the coast road. It's a bit overgrown, but it goes in here. There are also several ones in Blackhall. Of the range is the first steps. We're gonna go further down, look to 1, 2 more tunnels, maybe just one, and look if we can make their representation as a range shelter. We have now this one. This is the most southernmost one of Blackhall Rocks. I don't know if there's another one in Blackhall Rocks, but let's go to the next one, which is north. I made 100 little songs that you enjoy and love. And sing them lovely, It is this bridge. Over it goes the Durham coastline all the time along the coast in northeast England. It seems to be still part of Blackhall Rocks, which is up there. Then comes Blackhall Colliery, and we are now 800 meters south of Blackhall Colliery. Then comes Crimdon, and It's here, just 30 meters in from the 8,448. And pedestrians can just walk in here. There's all the time a pedestrian way at the 1048. Just walk in here, just 30 meters, and here's the rain shelter. And the next one north is directly south of Blackhall Colliery, so in 800 meters. There one has to go 150 meters in. And the next one south is also there, just in 200 meters where the Philpott lane comes down. The same thing, just at the ridge. And then the next one, the big Crimdon viaduct, has been also at the side of the street where one can go under. It is very big, the Crimdon viaduct, but at the side as well. So there, in 600 meters, and another one is at Station Road, also in Blackhall Rocks, in a kilometer. So in 800 meters and 1.2 kilometers, and in 200 and in 800 meters are more bridges like that. This and the next two are very close to the road. The next two one Station Road in Blackhall Rocks, and also the one southern one, are a bit further away from the street, but in Blackhall Rocks there are also bus stops, and there's actually in 300 meters also a bus stop with the range room. So, but that is this one here. Wild Asters by Sara Teasdale. In the spring I asked the daisies if his words were true, and the clever little daisies always knew. Now the fields are brown and barren, bitter autumn blows, and of all the stupid asters not one knows.
This is the one where the Philpott lane goes. So I don't know if it's on this side from the Philpott lane, but this is the next one.
So first of all, what I wanted to say, I asked in the museum if he can record, and I got the positive information. And now here, by that green bridge, there is the end of that big way where we were at the other bridge, the big old railway track that goes here along these 30 kilometers. We went over the streets and around along, because it's around 10 kilometers shorter here at the coast, it's around 20 kilometers or something. Over there it is around 30. And there it ends. Tomorrow we're gonna go to the headland out. One cannot see from here. To the headland out. And there's a picture at the Frost Engine House. There we were going along, and we tried to look there if we can figure something out where it went. We really have stopped here, because the Frost Engine House is further up there at the headlands. And also the docks of Hartlepool are further there. The steel appears in here, but that was also not. That was industry, and that was later. It was chemistry, or was it? It was steel, magnesium? Magnesium was. Magnesium pumped up to get out of it the sulfur to treat it the steel. So we have to find out where it ended, because with the coal doesn't make sense to end here, so it has to end further down, or in the past, closer to the docks than there. We're gonna look at that later. But for now here, there's the end. There comes again the train. There was the end. It goes here under the bridge to the end of the road. The recording of data. If one makes a measurement, that is a fact. And a fact or many facts together are data. And a measurement taken can be numerical data, and that can be recorded, and that should be done neatly so that the person later or another person can understand it. And maybe also, before the measurement is taken, a table should be made so that the measurement can be put in. Beside the table there could be made a graph, and that should have a clear header, and the unit should have clear written down what units it are of the measurement. And there can be things plotted against things. There can be done the time in years or months, and the size of a tree when the measurement taken, and clearly all said. Clear header, clear writing, clear points and dots, clear connection, clearly what the measurements are, and so on, and clearly signed that it is after 1 year 1 meter high, after 2 years 2.5, and so on, clear measurements. According to Modern Biology by Robert Barrows, written in 1979 on the page 12. The position and views expressed are the ones of the source and don't necessarily align with my own or with the ones of the entity spoken of. When Love Goes by Sara Teasdale. Oh mother, I am sick of love. I cannot laugh, nor lift my head, My bitter dreams have broken me. I would my love were dead. Drink of a draught I brew for thee, thou shalt have quiet in its stead. Where is the silver in the rain? Where is the music in the sea? Where's the bird that sang all day to break my heart with a melody? The night thou badest love fly away, he hid them all from thee.
So, we're back. I don't think I have anything to say. I said already all. I thank you very much for watching and until next time.